I'm Margaret, and at 78 years old, I thought I'd seen the worst life could throw at me, until my own children, the ones I raised with every ounce of love in my heart, turned their backs on me in a betrayal that shattered my world, leaving me to fight for the home I'd built with my late husband, a wound so deep it still aches in my bones every morning. I lived in a quaint, two-story house in Savannah, Georgia, its wraparound porch creaking under the weight of decades, the garden blooming with roses I'd planted with my husband, Harold, before he passed 10 years ago from a sudden heart attack, his laughter still echoing in the halls where we'd raised our 3 children, Daniel, 52, a real estate agent with a sharp smile, Laura, 49, a schoolteacher with a knack for baking, and Claire, 46, a graphic designer who'd always been the quietest. My days were filled with small joys, knitting scarves for the church bazaar, sipping chamomile tea on the porch as the sun dipped below the oaks, their Spanish moss swaying in the breeze, and flipping through photo albums, the pages yellowed with memories of Harold teaching the kids to ride bikes in the driveway, their giggles a melody I clung to. I'd spent my life sacrificing for them, working double shifts as a nurse to afford Daniel's college, baking Laura's wedding cake despite my arthritis, and driving Claire to art classes even when my back ached, dreaming of a future where they'd gather around my table for Thanksgiving, their own children playing in the yard. But a chilling discovery revealed a plot so cruel, it turned my golden years into a nightmare I never saw coming. It started one humid afternoon in July, the air thick with the scent of magnolias, when I found a letter slipped under my door, its envelope unmarked but crisp, as if it had been delivered with purpose. Inside was a legal notice, the words cold and clinical. My children had filed to have me declared mentally incompetent, claiming I couldn't manage my affairs due to dementia, a condition I'd never been diagnosed with, and they were seeking to sell my house, my sanctuary, the place where Harold and I had carved our initials into the oak tree out back, to fund my care. My heart plummeted as I read the lies, my hands trembling so badly the paper slipped to the floor, the black ink blurring through my tears. I'd noticed their visits dwindling over the past year, Daniel's excuses about work, Laura's curt phone calls, Claire's silence, but I'd chalked it up to their busy lives, not a conspiracy to strip me of everything I held dear. I called Daniel, my voice quaking, begging for an explanation, but he dismissed me with a cold, "It's for your own good, Mom," his tone sharp, as if I were a burden he couldn't wait to unload, a far cry from the boy who'd once clung to my skirts during thunderstorms. The truth unraveled further when I found an email on Laura's tablet, which she'd left behind after a rare visit, its screen lighting up with a notification as I dusted the living room, the faint hum of the air conditioner the only sound in the house. She'd forgotten to log out, and there it was, a thread between her, Daniel, and Claire, detailing their plan to sell my house for $450,000, splitting the money 3 ways, with emails to a real estate developer who'd been eyeing my property for a condo project, its prime location near Savannah's historic district a goldmine they couldn't resist. They'd fabricated stories about my declining health, claiming I'd forgotten their birthdays and left the stove on, lies that painted me as a frail old woman, when in reality, I still tended my garden daily, my hands steady as I pruned the roses, and hosted book club meetings every Thursday, my mind sharp as I debated Austin with my friends. The betrayal cut deeper than I could have imagined, their words, "She won't even notice the difference in a care home," a dagger to my heart, each syllable a reminder of the children I'd raised, now strangers plotting against me. I confronted them at a family meeting I insisted on, my voice trembling as I stood in my kitchen, the same one where I'd taught Laura to bake her first pie, the scent of cinnamon still lingering in my memory. I laid the legal notice and email printouts on the table, its surface scratched from years of family dinners, and demanded the truth, my eyes searching theirs for a shred of the love we'd shared. Daniel's face hardened, his jaw tight as he accused me of overreacting, claiming they were protecting me, while Laura fidgeted with her necklace, avoiding my gaze, her silence louder than any confession. Claire, the quiet one, broke down, her sobs echoing in the room as she admitted they needed the money. Daniel's business was failing, Laura's husband had left her with debts, and Claire's freelance work couldn't cover her daughter's medical bills after a car accident. But their excuses rang hollow, their tears a performance I couldn't forgive, not when they'd chosen greed over their own mother, planning to uproot me from the home where Harold's ashes were scattered in the garden, beneath the roses he'd loved. I refused to let them take everything, so I hired a lawyer, a kind woman named Ellen with a soft southern drawl, using the savings I'd kept in a tin box under my bed, money I'd saved from my nursing pension for emergencies, each bill a reminder of the years I'd worked to give them a better life. The legal battle stretched over 10 agonizing months, each court date a grueling ordeal that tested my frail body and spirit, the courthouse's marble halls cold and imposing, the echoes of footsteps a stark contrast to the warmth of my home. My children's lawyer, a slick man with a shark-like grin, painted me as a confused elderly woman, presenting forged medical records that claimed I'd been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, documents I'd never seen, there lies a twisted mockery of my reality. I sat through testimonies from neighbors they'd bribed, an elderly couple down the street who claimed I'd wandered into their yard at night, a story so absurd I nearly laughed through my tears, and from a doctor I'd never met, who testified I'd been forgetful during a supposed visit, his words a fabrication that made my blood boil. My lawyer countered with testimonies from my book club friends, who spoke of my sharp memory, and my doctor, who confirmed I was in good health, her voice steady as she held my hand under the table, her touch a lifeline in the storm. I lost sleep, my once cozy bedroom now a prison of memories, the silence deafening as I lay awake, the ticking of Harold's old clock on the nightstand a cruel reminder of time slipping away, its hands moving forward while I felt stuck in betrayal. The ghost of my children's childhood laughter haunted me, Daniel's gap-toothed grin as he rode his bike, Laura's flour-dusted cheeks as we baked, Claire's quiet sketches of our family under the oak tree, each memory a blade that cut deeper, their innocence a stark contrast to the adults they'd become. I'd clutch Harold's flannel shirt, its plaid faded from years of wear, the scent of his aftershave long gone but the fabric a tether to the man who'd have fought for me, my tears soaking the collar as I whispered to him in the dark, begging for the strength to endure. My nights were plagued by dreams of losing my home, the roses uprooted by bulldozers, my children's faces cold and unrecognizable, their voices echoing, "You're better off gone," a refrain that jolted me awake, my heart pounding as I fumbled for the lamp, its dim glow a small comfort against the darkness. My friends from the church rallied around me, their support a beacon in my despair, bringing casseroles and sitting with me on the porch, their laughter a reminder of the community I'd built over decades. But the weight of my children's betrayal bore down, their absence at my birthday, a day they'd once filled with homemade cards and hugs, leaving me to celebrate with a store-bought cake, its frosting too sweet against the bitterness in my heart, the candles flickering as I made a silent wish for justice. Just when I thought the worst had passed, a new twist emerged. Ellen discovered Daniel had been meeting with a shady estate planner, a man named Roger with a history of elder fraud, who'd helped them forge the medical records, his name linked to a scam that had targeted other seniors in Savannah, stripping them of their homes with similar tactics, his involvement a chilling revelation that deepened my fear. Roger had a rap sheet, including charges for identity theft and coercion, and Ellen warned me he might try to intimidate me, a prospect that sent shivers down my spine, my nights now filled with dread of a stranger at my door, the creak of the porch a sound I began to fear. I hired a private investigator, a retired cop named Hank with a gruff demeanor and a limp from an old injury, his presence a reassurance as he dug into Roger's dealings, meeting me at a cafe with a view of the Savannah River, its waters glinting in the sun as he handed me files, his hands steady despite the tremor in his voice. Hank uncovered that Daniel had promised Roger a cut of the sale, using my house as collateral for a loan to save his failing business, a plot that could have left me homeless and Daniel free to start over, the paperwork a maze of deceit that made my head spin. But the plot thickened when Hank revealed Roger's deeper motive. He'd been wronged by a senior years ago, a woman who'd reported him to the police, costing him a lucrative deal, and now he targeted elderly victims as revenge, his partnership with my children a twisted game of power, each move a step toward reclaiming what he'd lost, a revelation that turned my stomach, the layers of betrayal piling higher. I spent months gathering evidence, my days a blur of meetings with Ellen, her office lined with photos of her grandchildren, phone calls with Hank, his voice a gravelly comfort, and sleepless nights poring over documents, my dining room a war room of scattered papers and teacups, the walls closing in as I fought to save my home, the ink on the pages blurring through my tears. One evening, as I sorted through Harold's old journals, their leather covers worn from his hands, I found a letter he'd written to me before his death, tucked between the pages, its words a balm to my soul, "Maggie, you're stronger than you know, fight for what's yours." The note gave me the courage to keep going, his handwriting a lifeline in the storm, its loops and curves a reminder of the man who'd loved me fiercely. But the fear escalated when Roger left a threatening voicemail one night, his voice low and menacing, "Drop the case, or you'll regret it," the words chilling me to the core, my hands trembling as I played it for Ellen, her face hardening as she promised to report him, her resolve a shield I clung to. The courtroom became a crucible of tension, each session a battle for my dignity, the air heavy with the scent of old books and the murmur of spectators. My children sat together, their faces a mask of indifference, Daniel's jaw tight, Laura's hands clasped too tightly, Claire's eyes red but distant, their unity a stark contrast to the family we'd once been. The judge, a woman with a no-nonsense demeanor and a sharp gaze, listened as Ellen presented our evidence, the real medical reports, Hank's findings on Roger, testimonies from my friends who spoke of my clarity and independence, their voices a chorus of support that brought tears to my eyes. Roger was called as a witness, his slick demeanor faltering under Ellen's cross-examination, his lies unraveling as he stammered, his involvement with Daniel exposed, the courtroom buzzing with whispers as the truth came to light. My children's defense crumbled, their forged documents exposed as fraud, their motives laid bare, greed, desperation, and a willingness to sacrifice their own mother for profit, a truth that broke my heart anew, their betrayal a wound that bled with every glance across the room. Finally, after a fight that felt like an eternity, the judge ruled in my favor, declaring me competent and dismissing their claim, ordering them to pay my legal fees, a sum of $15,000 that they'd struggled to afford, a financial burden I knew they'd resent me for, the checks arriving in dribbles that barely covered Ellen's fees, each one a reminder of the cost of their deceit. Roger was arrested for fraud in a separate investigation, his mugshot plastered across the local news, his downfall a small justice that eased my fear, but the victory felt hollow, my trust in my children was shattered into fragments I couldn't piece back together, my home safe but my heart scarred by the ones I'd loved most, their betrayal a wound that throbbed with every memory of their childhood, their laughter now a bitter echo. I started therapy to process the trauma, sitting in a quiet room with a therapist named Susan, her gentle voice guiding me through the pain, joining a support group for seniors who'd faced family betrayal, their stories of resilience, like a man who'd lost his farm to his son, or a woman whose daughter had stolen her savings, inspiring me to find my own strength, their shared grief a mirror to mine in the circle of chairs, the creak of the floor a rhythm to our healing. I fortified my home, installing a security system with cameras that beeped softly at night, painting the porch swing a bright yellow to reclaim the space, the brushstrokes a defiant act against my sorrow, hanging wind chimes to banish the silence, their gentle tinkling a melody of renewal. I adopted a rescue dog, a golden retriever named Daisy with a limp from her past but a wagging tail that brought joy to my mornings, her warmth a comfort as she slept at my feet, her soft snores a reminder that I wasn't alone. I started volunteering at a local senior center, teaching knitting classes to others my age, channeling my pain into helping them, their laughter a balm for my broken spirit as we shared stories over yarn, my hands steadying as I taught them to cast on, their gratitude a flicker of light in my darkness. Yet the wounds linger, I flinch at the sound of a car pulling into the driveway, fearing it's one of them, my phone now a source of anxiety with each unanswered call, and I've grown wary of family, my heart guarded behind walls I never thought I'd need, each memory of their childhood a double-edged sword, my smile faltering at the thought of their faces. I've taken up watercolor painting, capturing the roses in my garden to reclaim my joy, the brush gliding across the canvas a new rhythm in my life, its strokes a testament to my survival, but the memories of their betrayals still surface, their laughter at family dinners, their hugs on Mother's Day, the love I thought we shared a bittersweet ache that lingers like a ghost, a testament to the strength I found in the ashes of their deceit, a resilience forged in the fire of my pain. Thanks for listening to my story, it means the world to share this with you. Let me know in the comments if it resonated with you, and please like and subscribe if you'd like more real-life drama tales, I'd really appreciate your support.